In Brazil, the main emergency numbers are 190, police 192, ambulances and medical emergencies, and 193, firefighters and rescue services. Every day, operators answer millions of calls, from traffic accidents on busy highways to medical crises in remote villages to large-scale national tragedies that make headlines around the world. In those moments, the calm voice of a dispatcher on the line is often the only lifeline between chaos and survival. Today, we will revisit 10 real emergency calls from Brazil, each one telling a story of fear, courage, and the vital importance of fast communication. Story 1. The Kiss nightclub fire, Santa Maria, 2013. On January 27, 2013, a fire tore through the Kiss nightclub in Santa Maria, Rio Grande do Sul. Pyrotechnics ignited the ceiling, and thick smoke spread through the crowded club. Hundreds of calls flooded 193. Witnesses shouted, "There are people trapped inside. We can't see anything." Dispatchers instructed callers to guide others to exits, cover mouths with clothing, and stay low to the ground. The recordings reveal sheer panic, young voices crying, others begging for help as firefighters fought through the flames. Tragically, 242 people died, but many were saved thanks to real-time directions given over the phone. This call became a national symbol of the importance of fire safety and rapid emergency response. Story 2. The Mariana Dam disaster, 2015. When a mining dam burst in Mariana, Minas Gerais, a wave of mud and toxic waste destroyed entire villages. The first desperate calls to 193 came from workers and residents shouting, "The dam has broken! Everything is gone!" Dispatchers initially struggled to grasp the scale of the disaster until more reports came in. People trapped on rooftops and trees called for hours, giving their locations so helicopters could reach them. The tragedy killed 19 people and displaced hundreds, but emergency calls helped guide rescue teams through the devastation. Story 3. Child calls after mother collapses in São Paulo. In São Paulo, an 8-year-old girl dialed 192 when her mother suddenly collapsed. Barely holding back tears, she told the dispatcher, "My mom is on the floor. She's not moving." The operator calmly instructed her to check for breathing and keep her mother's head tilted back. Paramedics arrived quickly, later confirming that the girl's actions kept her mother alive until treatment was possible. This call became widely shared in Brazilian media as proof of how important it is to teach children about emergency numbers. Story 4. The Rio de Janeiro floods, 2010. Torrential rains in Rio triggered deadly mudslides and flooding. Entire neighborhoods were submerged. Emergency lines were overwhelmed. One caller cried, "The water's at the roof. We can't get out." Dispatchers worked non-stop, marking addresses and sending boats to rescue families. In some cases, operators instructed callers to climb to the highest points of their homes and wave white cloths so rescuers could spot them. Dozens of lives were saved this way, even as hundreds perished in one of Rio's deadliest natural disasters. Story 5. Chapecoense plane crash, 2016. When the Chapecoense football team's plane crashed near Medellin, Colombia, it was Colombian authorities who received the emergency calls. But in Brazil, families and journalists immediately began phoning 190 and 192, desperate for information. Back in Brazil, operators had to manage thousands of calls from relatives, fans, and media outlets. Dispatchers worked with foreign agencies to gather updates. Though not direct from the crash site, these calls reveal the emotional side of emergencies, the need for answers, comfort, and coordination across borders. Story 6. São Paulo Metro Accident. In a rare but shocking incident, 2 construction workers were trapped after a tunnel collapsed during the São Paulo Metro expansion. Colleagues immediately dialed 193, reporting, "They're alive, but buried. Send help now." Firefighters used the caller's details to pinpoint the worker's location. For hours, operators kept in contact with those at the scene, guiding them on how to provide oxygen and avoid further collapses until professional rescue teams broke through. Both workers survived thanks to the rapid communication. Story 7. A bus hijacking in Rio, 2000. The Sequestro do ônibus 174 became one of Brazil's most infamous hostage crises. In June 2000, an armed man hijacked a bus in Rio de Janeiro. Witnesses and terrified passengers made frantic calls to 190, reporting the unfolding chaos. Operators relayed every detail to police units surrounding the bus. Though the standoff ended tragically with the death of a hostage, the calls from inside the bus revealed the fear of those trapped and the difficulty dispatchers faced in such unpredictable crises. Story 8. Fire in a São Paulo high-rise, 2018. In May 2018, a 24-story abandoned building in São Paulo caught fire and collapsed. People living inside, mostly families without housing, called 193 as flames engulfed the tower. One mother screamed into the phone, "We can't get out. The fire is on every floor." Firefighters rushed in, guided by exact apartment numbers relayed by callers. While several lives were lost, many were saved because of the constant communication between victims and dispatchers. Story 9. Amazon Jungle Rescue. In the Amazon, emergencies take a different form. One fisherman, injured deep in the forest, managed to reach 192 by cell phone. The dispatcher listened as he described his location along the river, coordinating with military helicopters to find him. For hours, the dispatcher stayed on the line telling him, "Keep calm, we're coming, don't move too much." The fisherman survived thanks to one of the most remote rescues ever coordinated over a Brazilian emergency call. Story 10. The Niterói Landslide, 2019. Heavy rains triggered a landslide in Niterói near Rio, burying homes beneath mud and debris. Survivors buried up to their waists in mud called 193, begging for help. "We can't move. The earth is everywhere." Dispatchers instructed them to stay still and keep their heads above the mud until rescue teams arrived with shovels and dogs. Thanks to those calls, several people were pulled out alive from what seemed like certain death. From nightclub fires and dam disasters to children saving parents and rescues in the Amazon, these 10 real emergency calls from Brazil reveal how fragile life can be and how powerful one phone call truly is. On one end of the line, frightened, desperate voices. On the other, calm professionals who must act fast, piecing together details to save lives. The Brazilian emergency numbers, 190, 192, 193, are more than just services. They are lifelines, tested every day in tragedies both great and small. And these calls remind us of one thing. In moments of chaos, the courage to dial and the calmness to listen can change everything.